You want to shoot Formula One? Hell yes. Let me start off by introducing myself. My name's Mike. I am a semi-professional photographer, and now we're in the start of 2022. I've made the bold decision to stop procrastinating and have the year of the doer. And what I mean by that is take my photography from a point where I'm shooting semi-professionally and actually take that forward on a journey to Formula One. So I'm going to talk through some of the things about what I aim to cover on the channel, and hopefully you can follow the journey from shooting where I'm at now, which I'll go into much more detail in due course, and following all the steps that it takes for me to get to Formula One. So I hope it's enjoyable, informative, and if not, we can just have a laugh at me, because this is incredibly awkward, feels super odd talking to a camera, but year of the doer, and here we are. So I've got my book, I've got a few things that I want to quickly go over, just help remind myself. So yeah, this channel, it covers automotive work, so we're talking doing gigs for private clients, we're talking about motorsport, which is shooting for press, media, teams and drivers, and privateers. And also this incorporates, heavily focused on photography, because as I say, I'm a semi-pro photographer. I'm not a videographer, but I hope this video looks half okay. But so some of the things I want to sort of go over is, I say, like I've said already, documenting the journey from where I am now in March 2022, and I appreciate it won't be this year, but as time goes by, hopefully you can see the steps that I take and the things that I do to put myself in a position to get my dream job in Formula One, and doing that full time paid. So here we go. Some of the things that I want to talk through later on in various other videos is going to talk about reviews of income. Obviously, to solely do motorsport, I don't know yet. From the research I've done and people I've spoken to, it's quite difficult to have that constant source of income that gives you that security with paying your bills and all those bits and pieces, travel, accommodation. So I want to talk about in future videos certain things like sponsorships for companies that I think, hopefully the viewers that will be watching this, obviously who knows who's going to be watching it because it's 0 at the moment, but hopefully I can work with some companies to get some products at better deals or discount codes and things like that. Hopefully I can get them in the channel for, you know, things that I think motorsport enthusiasts would like and appreciate. I'm going to talk about doing this, YouTube. It's the first venture out. It's quite intimidating. I'm not somebody who likes to be centre of attention, but obviously YouTube can potentially be a source of income, and I assume that comes with consistency and quality of video and doing some cool stuff. So that's something I need to research on and probably bring you some more videos in the future. Briefly touched on it, but private gigs with clients that come to me directly that have got a nice car, they want that documented, photos of them driving their car, or on location shoots, which I'd like to take you along with me to show you how I photograph cars, and how I edit and give them the final example and product to the customer. Also possibly collaborating with other YouTubers, early days yet I know, but there's some really cool guys and girls out there that shoot motorsport or are just general digital like creatives that, you know, I follow, that I aspire to be as good as, and actually inspire me to start doing this, and also have probably influenced me quite a bit when it comes to my edits and work that I deliver. On top of that, also we got to look at selling prints, how viable that is, selling images to press, agency, media, stock, that sort of thing as well. So they're all sorts of things that, as and when I come across those sort of topics, that I'm actually going to bring you, you know, as I'm doing this in-house, that you're going to be there over my shoulder watching me, and hopefully we can have some success with that. Also, being a motorsport photographer, I also want to take a trackside, and I'll do some, as embarrassing as it will be for me, some vlogs. Maybe also taking someone along who is trying to get into that side of photography, and I can show you me teaching them, and little tips and tricks that if you as a spectator then you've got, you know, a nice camera, you can still get some really cool shots, and probably some that are better than the apparent pros that are shooting trackside. I'll probably go over, it's a massive topic, but the gear that I use, why I use it, and how to get the best from it. And that'll be everything from cameras, lenses, the usual stuff, even small things that you don't necessarily think of when it comes to motorsport photography, that actually that's quite a handy thing to have for certain shots and bits and pieces like that. Also, obviously a big part of motorsport photography is if you want to, because you can get some fantastic shots on what I'd say the wrong side of the fence, the spectator side of the fence, but it really opens up the opportunities when you have media access, when you can have access to paddock, pit lane, some garages if you get on and collaborate with the drivers and teams, but being the other side of the fence, not having those obstructions, being able to get to real key prime locations on a racetrack that otherwise you wouldn't get just being a spectator. So obviously there's a accreditation process which I've followed previously, for which I've had some success and a fair amount of rejection, but that's something I would also talk you guys through as well, and what I do and how I go about approaching getting my media credentials. Another thing, this would be slightly further down the line, and it's just from some of the other YouTube channels that I follow that I really like, but I think it'd be really cool to have a community car on the channel. So maybe some of the funds that come in via YouTube sponsorship, that's something that we could, I say we, me, us, hopefully as a photography community could put towards buying a nice car, and we can, you know, have a community based sort of upgrade plans and ideas and photo shoots with it, and almost use it as a training car for you guys watching that want to learn, and you know, in that environment that isn't pressurized or stressful, that you know you've got a fee paying client. So that's something I'm thinking about, obviously further down the line. And also I wanted to speak to you about targets. So this is my first entry into the world of YouTube, so we'll see how it goes, but there'll probably be a flurry of videos to begin with, just because I've got so many ideas that I'd like to really get across. But then rather than just put videos out for the sake of videos being posted online, I want to do quality content, and I'm looking around maybe one video a week at this time. Like I say, I'd rather you have quality over quantity. I think that's far better, rather than just putting a video up for video's sake. So the other thing as well, which I would really appreciate, on my Instagram, and I'll put all the details on the screen and in the description below, motophoto.media. We're currently sitting around just under sort of 500 likes. 2020 goal, it would be great to get it above 1,000 follows. So I'm setting goals. They're not obscene, hopefully not unachievable, but at the same time we need to be realistic. So yeah, with that being said, this is going to be a video series, a video channel showing you how I'm going to make money and income, and the journey that I'm taking from now to hopefully where I really want to be. My real goal in life is to make it as a Formula 1 accredited, full-time paid professional photographer. Travel the world, you know, capture those iconic photos that I've seen in motorsports, newspapers, magazines. That's what I really want to do. And 2022 is the year of the doer, and this is a big change for me. This is really quite a scary thing. Okay, you know, apart from, you know, I'll make myself look like a fool, so be it, but hopefully it'll get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed, and hopefully I can give some good content, and you will enjoy it. But as it stands at the moment, let me just give you a little bit of background around my business. So I've got a photography business that I incorporated as a limited company back in 2015. I've been a photographer for a long time, just as a hobbyist, but probably going back to the young old age of, let's say 17, when I got my first kind of what I'd say proper digital. It was a tiny little Canon Nixus camera. And it just started out with me going around taking some photos and seeing other people taking photos and go, hey, if you just do X, Y and Z, or if you do this, it'd be such a better photo. And because I'm useless at other sorts of artistic crafts or drawing, this is my way of in creating images that I can be artistic. So that's what set me on my way. Say 2015, I incorporated my company, and fortunately I've got to shoot some beautiful weddings, parties, events, and the funds from that allows me to shoot the things I absolutely love, which is the motorsport side of the business, and cars, anything with four wheels and an engine. So obviously, it's not completely cost-free to go off and do this, so travel, accommodation, all those sort of things have to be factored in, and I've got bills to pay as well. So where I stand at the moment, I have previously shot the World Endurance cars. First started shooting that back in 2019. I did originally plan to have this YouTube thing kind of kicking off around that time, but because of a few things going on and then going into, unfortunately, the pandemic, a lot of things, and I'm sure for many people, got put on hold. So that's where we're at. I did have credentials throughout 2020 and 21, but again, because a lot of the circuits, especially for WEC, it become closed off, competitors only basically. So that put me on the back foot a little bit. But good news is for the 2022 season, I am a full media season pass holder. And that'll be another video that I talk about how I initially made the approach and how I got that access in the first place. So that's the big championship that I'm shooting this year. Hopefully I can bring you along some of that journey so you get to see that as well. And very fortunately for a friend, which is quite often the case, I had the privilege of obtaining a couple of passes for a couple of Formula 1 events as well. And although these particular events, technically I was a guest, this was a vacation, a holiday, I more so treated that opportunity as part of the media. At one point I was actually amongst the media, so they probably really didn't like that. But hey, make the most of the opportunities. I got the shots I wanted and I'm super proud of them. But I got to shoot Italy, Monza back in 2018, and also in the States in 2019. So that was a very privileged, very kind opportunity that I got. Hopefully I can get some more of those, even just to get a little bit more exposure and maybe some interviews with some of the current photographers that are shooting that series. But yeah, as it stands, that's a little bit about me. As I said, my name's Mike. Hopefully you will follow me on this journey from where I'm at now as a semi-pro photographer, and follow me on that journey all the way through to Formula 1 and making it. So we shall see. But until then, I'd really appreciate if you could like the video, subscribe, all that usual stuff, throw some comments down there, feel free to humiliate me or etc, because it's bound to get a few of those comments because this is particularly awkward. But yeah, that's a wrap, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.